Hey, Canucks fans, back with another Zoom chat, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with someone I've listened to for many years across many stations, someone I admired. Please welcome from TSN1040, the one and only Rick Dhaliwal. Rick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, and I'm so happy to join you, Clay, Mr. Positivity. And, you know, people ask me all the time, why is Canucks Twitter so nasty? Why is it negative? It's got this reputation around the NHL circles as being, you know, and I say this to you. First of all, we have a passionate fan base who has not seen the playoffs in 5 years.
Yep.
Red hot Canadian market, no playoffs 5 years. This is what's going to happen. But when the cycle turns, and the cycle will turn for the better, you're going to see a lot of that negativity leave Canucks Twitter. You're going to see it. And what a great young core. You know, Barry Trotz recently said in a coach's clinic, he said the Canucks are one of the best young offensive teams in the NHL. And I'm telling you right now, there's so many nice pieces. It's going to take time to get there, but they're on the right track. Yes, mistakes have been made, especially on July 1st. There's no question about it. But there's been some good trades made in the last year, too. It all equal. There is no general manager in the history of the Canucks who did not go through adversity, who did not have bad draft picks, bad trades, bad July 1st signings. They all GMs do good things, and they do bad things. That's just a part of the process. It's on the right track, but a lot of the negativity right now is because this is a red-hot Canadian market. Fans are passionate, great fan base, and you know what? No playoffs. This isn't Carolina. This isn't Columbus. This isn't LA. This isn't Florida. They care. We care. That is why you see so much hot debate on Canucks Twitter. The care level here is incredible, and it will remain that way.
Rick, you answered 3 or 4 of my questions all in that one shot. I don't even have to ask a question, man. I just let you go. But let's talk about that real quick. Do you ever get tired of the back and forth you see on Canucks Twitter, or are you okay with it?
Look, do they have cap issues? Of course they do, because of some bad July 1st signings, let's be honest. But you can get out of those. I believe when the NHL draft comes, and I believe before July 1st, the new July 1st, whatever the new July 1st is, I believe the Canucks will make some trades and get out of some bad contracts. They've also got 16, 17 million to play with. So it's not like they're down to zero. Were there some mistakes made? Absolutely. They've got the highest fourth line paid in the NHL. That's not, Clay, that's not good when you're paying $8.5 million for your fourth line.
Not good.
The only guy on that fourth line that is paid like a fourth liner and plays like a fourth liner is Tyler Mott.
Yes.
And there's a guy that works his ass off. The coaches love him. He will get re-signed. And those are the guys you build with, the care, the try, skate hard, kill penalty. I'm telling you. But when you're paying close to $9 million for your fourth line, that's not good. But some of these contracts will expire, and in due time, they'll get out of this mess. But right now, I can understand why some people are upset. And but they have all the ability, Clay, at that NHL draft coming up and just before July 1st to make some trades. And I presume they will.
And you make a great point. For every Markstrom or Toffoli you want to sign for $5 or $6 million, you got to have a Tyler Mott that's going to sign for 1 or 1.2.
And Zach McEwen is another good young piece who's going to come in at a good number. And then, you know, you're going to have Podkolzin and you're going to have Hoglander come in at entry-level deals, just like Pettersson entry-level, Hughes entry-level. And these guys are going to come in. Look, these bad contracts on the books are not going to last forever. But I can see the criticism. Why? So there is value for criticism there, but they will get out from under them in the near future.
Okay, so how quick, Rick, because I heard you this morning on Halford and Bruff, as always, a great job. If you were a betting man between the 3 guys, Markstrom, Toffoli, and Tanev, how many of those 3 will be back in a Canucks uniform next season?
Oh, boy. I see Markstrom getting done. I do. The Canucks have spent a ton of money in emotional, the money, time in Markstrom. Travis Green and Markstrom go back to the American Hockey League in Utica. They went to the Calder Cup final. The coach loves this player. The player loves the coach. He loves the city. But here's the problem. There's a gap right now. They've been talking to Markstrom. They got time to close that gap. But there's a gap. Let's be honest. If there wasn't a gap, Clay, the deal would have been done.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so obviously, remember Besser? There was a gap, and then Besser signed just like a couple of days after camp or something.
Yeah, middle of September. Yep.
But there's pressure points. But you know what? The Canucks want Markstrom. Markstrom wants to stay. They'll get it done. I'm going to predict something like a 4-year deal at $6 million.
Right.
Just a prediction. Don't go crazy on me. Shoot the messenger. To Foley, I love. Great trade by Jim. But you gave up a second rounder, right? And you gave up Tyler Madden.
Yeah.
So there's kind of pressure on the Canucks to get that done, because if he walks after playing 10, 11 games, that's a lot to give up.
Yep.
Chris, unfortunately for me, unless the Canucks step up with some term and money, it's going to be tough. And Chris is a warrior. Clay, go back to that game in Winnipeg when he took the shot on the ankle and he skated off the ice and he came back. This guy's a warrior. He's good in the dressing room. He's good off the ice. This guy, Quinn Hughes, loves him. Quinn Hughes called him the best defenseman he's ever played with. And Quinn Hughes has played on World Junior teams, World Hockey Championships, the University of Michigan. He's played with some damn good players in his short career. But he says that Tanev's the best. Good chemistry. But hey, look, Canucks want Tanev back, but Tanev has earned the right. After 10 years of being a top 4 defenseman, he's earned the right to ask for more. The Canucks controlled Chris Tanev for 10 years, Clay, right? So finally, you have some leverage. You're not going to say to the Canucks, give me a short-term deal. Yeah. You're going to ask, like every top 4 defenseman and every top 6 forward who's a UFA, Clay, what's the first thing they ask for?
Term.
Term and money. I don't know what he gets at the end of the day, Clay. I don't know what Chris Tanev's going to end up with, but you don't start negotiations by saying, give me the least. Right? And I understand the Canucks need Chris Tanev on a short-term deal. They do. But come on, guys. This guy's worked 10 years, his ass off to become a UFA. You just don't ask for the lowest amount of term money. You try and hit a home run. And Clay, you sell your house tomorrow. Are you going to ask for a low number? No. You're going to ask for a grand slam price. The market will dictate what you get for your house. Same thing for Tanev. The market will eventually dictate what he gets. But you don't start out asking for low term. You ask for the most, because for the first time in 10 years, Chris Tanev has leverage as a UFA.
Yes, and Chris Tanev should really hire Quinn Hughes as his agent after Quinn Hughes said that about being the best the best defenseman.
The Canucks know that Tanev and Hughes is a good tandem, and they're friends off the ice. They developed that friendship in Toronto last summer. It's a great fit, but unfortunately, the Canucks want him at 1 or 2 year deal, and Tanev's got to explore.
Yep.
He's got to.
So Rick, let's stay on the blue line. Let's go from Tanev. I want to work our way through Stetcher and then Rathbone and Tryamkin, if that makes sense. So let's start with Troy Stetcher. Is he coming back?
That's a good question, because a year ago, I didn't think the Canucks would not qualify Ben Hutton, and they didn't qualify. And Stetcher got arb rights. So Stetcher's got arb rights, and the Canucks are worried that he might have a case of over $3 million in arb rights. Last year, they were worried Hutton was going to have a case of over $4 million because of the ice time with injuries. So they're worried. I'm not going to lie to you. Do they not qualify Stetcher like they didn't qualify Hutton? Possibility. You're always worried about arbitration. Jake Virtanen has got a good arb case. You're worried there. He might get over 3.5. You just never know. Hey, if COVID didn't hit, I still believe in my heart. Jake would have hit 20. Yeah. 20 goals, power forward. The NHL today is a good out that, you know what? Jake can ask for $3 million. In my eyes, we'll see where it ends up. But your question on Stetcher, I'm worried, because if they sign Tryamkin, if they sign Rathbone, and now all of a sudden, I know they're left side guys, but Rafferty's coming up. Right? You got to make room for Rafferty after got to give him a good long look, at least in training camp, right? So Tanev and Stetcher, boy, oh boy. I really wonder, Clay, if those two are going to be back.
Okay, so let's say this. Let's say our right side is Myers, one of two of Tanev or Stetcher and Rafferty. Let's say that's the right. On the left, we know we have Hughes and Edler, and then, you know, Jordy Ben, not the best year last year. So now we've heard talk. I heard you talk extensively about Rathbone. So talk to me about his situation as from what you know right now.
Yeah, so Rathbone, there's a new provision in the CBA that's going to allow rookies to kill 1 year of their deal. It's going to be a short window. He's got a decision to make, Clay. He's got a decision. Do you go back and wait for Harvard? The Harvard might not play next year. They're at the fall sports. Or do you sign with the Canucks? I'm going to tell you one thing, Clay. The people jumping on the Rathbone bandwagon, lots of them. This kid's good. I just was texting with a hockey guy this morning back east who said this kid's a stud. And the Canucks know it. It was a great pick. Canucks did a lot of good, hard work. This is a Judd Brackett pick. And Brackett did a lot of good work. Clay, back east in the NCAA, Brackett gets a lot of credit. He really does. This is a good pick, good kid, good family. He's got a decision to make. But if he comes in, he's a left side, he's not going to Edler and Hughes. There's no way. So, but, hey, you get your feet wet. You start out in the third pair. Edler's not going to be here forever. And he's a big piece of the future. So he's got a decision to make. Wait for Harvard or sign with the Canucks. Mom and dad might want him to continue his education. You know, get the degree, a Harvard degree. That's pretty big, Clay. Or, you know, or I'm telling you right now, sign with the Canucks and get your feet wet, get going on your NHL career. Degree or NHL career, you got to take a pick.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years from now, Hughes and Rathbone 1-2 punch down the left side sounds good to me.
And don't discount Rafferty. What he did in the American League last year, coming out of the NCAA, boy, that kid, I'll tell you, at the trading deadline, Clay, a lot of teams were asking about Rafferty. A lot of teams were asking about Rafferty and got debt. And every team at the trading deadline, what do they want? They want your young, good kids. And so many people in the hockey world were impressed with what Rafferty did. But the thing about Rathbone is he defends well. When you look at the Canucks issue, it's given up too many shots per game, right? So you got to start getting defensemen who can defend better. And the one thing this guy told me about Rathbone is he defends as well. As good as he is offensively and he can skate like the wind, he defends as well. That's going to be music to the ears of head coach Travis Green.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go to another left side guy who can play both sides. Nikita Tryamkin, you being like the one guy who's been on the beat. We know that the salary cap is now set, $81.5 million. So what's the holdup, Rick?
Well, so Nikita Tryamkin, all I can tell you is they told the agent, let's wait until we get the salary cap number, okay? And then we'll talk. He's not going to cost you 5 years and $25 million. It'll be a 1 or 2 year deal at, you know, whatever, 2 or 3, around $2 million. Let's leave it at that. But the Canucks know that the KHL training camps start essentially in a week or so, right? They've had 3 months to tell Nikita and his agent, we're going in a different direction. They've had 3 months, Clay. They haven't done that. So now the KHL season's starting. I believe they like this guy. I believe they're going to talk to him when the salary cap's announced at 81.5. I believe they're going to talk and try to get a deal done. Does the deal get done? I have no idea, Clay, but I'm pretty confident next week. At some point, his agent was on TSN1040 last week. I'm very confident, Clay, they're going to talk and try and get a deal done 1 or 2 years.
Awesome. So, Rick, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's our top 6 D-men? What's our lineup on December 1st when the 2020-2021 season starts?
That's tough. The only reason I'm not that, Clay, is because of what I told you, July, the NHL draft. I believe the Canucks are going to wheel and deal at that NHL draft and before July 1st. And how do you know they don't – okay, say by the draft they know Tanev's gone. So how do you replace Tanev? How do you know they don't go out and make a trade for a top 4 defenseman? How do you know there's some pretty good UFA defensemen out there? There's a guy named Hamonic, one province to our left or right, if you're looking south. And, there's Hamonic. There's other guys you can make a trade for, Clay. So it's tough to answer today what they're going to look like because I believe Jim's going to try and shake things up in the draft.
That's fair. Rick, one thing I and many other people love about you is how hard you work, yet how connected you are as well. So, I'm not going to ask you to show me your cell phone contacts on the Zoom call, but is this years and years of agents, of GMs, of players, just coaches, just trusting you? Like, how hard have you worked to build up that network of contacts? It's very impressive.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a passion. It's a passion to work on stories. It's passion to communicate. Clay, back in the old radio Flintstone days, when we had reel the reels, we had carts, and I had a 25, when I started out, I had a $25 Canadian Tire typewriter. I used to pound on that thing. The times have changed. The cell phone changed everything. As soon as I had the ability to start texting agents all over. Like, I love the fact I can text an agent in Finland. Hey, do you got a couple of minutes? Or Sweden. I just texted a guy in Russia yesterday. He responded in 2 seconds. The cell phone made my job easier. But the passion to get stories, that's just inside my heart. And I'm not an insider. I'm just a guy who likes to work on stories. I really hate the word insider. And when people call it to me, I get mad. I'm not. The insiders are Bob McKenzie, Darren Drager, Pierre LeBrun, Elliot Friedman. Those are the best in the four best. Nobody comes close to those guys. Those guys, I'm just a small town guy working on stories. That's all. And I just have a passion to do it. I talked to an agent last night till he was he was back east. It was midnight. We talked for 30, 40 minutes. I love communicating, talking, texting throughout the course of the day. I'm between 40 to 50 people I'm texting or calling in a day, easily.
Wow. So do you have a desire to do a full-time radio gig, or actually would that actually cut into your time of this contacting people and stuff? Like, is that a desire for you, or are you happy with what you're doing right now?
It's in my blood. It's been in my blood since 19 when I got into it. Radio is, like, I'm not going to lie to you, mainstream media has taken a big hit in the last few years, Clay. The cell phone and Twitter, and first it was the internet. TV, radio, newspapers took a big hit because you have this social media. You have all this. Clay, I can't, and I shouldn't be saying this, I can't remember the last time I read a newspaper. Can you?
Oh.
Because I sit on my couch at nighttime and go all the newspapers from here to China. I just find the internet. So we're going through a tough time, mainstream media. But one thing about radio is the beauty is that it is immediate. If something happens at 7 a.m., radio's got it at 7 a.m. We don't have to wait. And that's the greatest. And that's why radio will always be number one in the world, the number one media, because no matter when some Canucks trade happens, 1040 will break it down with capital letters better than anyone else. And I'm telling you, they will break it down right away. Look at the Tyler Madden trade when it came down. We had Madden on. 1040 had him on seconds after. And you know what? And then Blake and Matt, it's such a highly rated show. They broke that trade down better than anyone else. I'm telling you, radio, it's in my blood. It's my passion. It's been 30 years for me in radio. And that's where my heart is.
Awesome. Well, I'm just impressed that you read newspapers from China. That's pretty good. I know you can read Chinese. That's good.
Well, hey, I'm going to tell you something, Clay. Because of this pandemic, I'm watching less TV, and I'm on my phone trying to gather information worldwide more now. And I'm not going to lie to you. Television, I rarely watch it because I'm so engaged in this virus and how we can beat it, and the medical, how people are working 24/7, scientists to find some medicine, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's where the internet, like, I got to tell you, I'm watching less TV and more information for me right now.
Awesome. Let's go 2 more Canucks questions and then we'll wrap things up. Okay. Talk to me. I vlogged about this yesterday. Brock Besser, Tyler Toffoli. As we know, Toffoli, 10 points in 10 games, playing with Pettersson and Miller. A healthy Brock Besser. Who would you put with Pettersson and Miller, and who would you put with Horvat and Pearson when the Canucks face the Wild in 3 weeks?
I'm not touching the top 6. It was so good. It was running so well. Travis, I don't see Travis touching. Okay, here's what. Let me tell you about the lineup.
Yep.
He's got healthy forwards, right? And he's got the black aces. Okay. The only guy not going to be ready is Lebo. So As my extras right now, I have McEwen, Eriksson, and Ferland as my extras. How do you get them in? Well, I don't know. I don't see Mott, Beagle, and Sutter being touched as the fourth line. I don't see that. I don't see the top six being touched either. They were going guns a-blazing. Horvat, Besser, Pearson, I wouldn't touch that. Pettersson, Toffoli, Miller, I'm not going to touch that. Look, he's got tough decisions to make. If you're going to insert Ferland in, who comes out? If you're going to insert McEwen in, who comes out?
Yeah.
So those are bottom six decisions, but to top six, I love the Canucks top six. And that's why if somehow they can sign Toffoli, Clay, I think their top six is set for a long time.
I agree, Rick. So you like Toffoli sticking with Pettersson, Miller to start off?
Oh, yeah. And who was it in an interview? There was Pettersson that mentioned how great it was playing with Toffoli. So when your franchise centerman is bragging about Toffoli, you don't touch Toffoli. You leave him right there. And my big thing with their lineup against Minnesota is going to be if you're going to do it, how do you get Ferland and McEwen in the lineup?
Yeah.
That's going to be my big what if for Travis Green. But Travis has got some tough decisions. Don't kid yourself, especially up front.
And presuming the third line is still Gaudette, Virtanen, and Roussel, are you confident in them to play a true checking line, or do you actually see Sutter, Mott, and Beagle getting that type of responsibility to free up maybe that Gaudette, Virtanen combo?
What's the biggest complaint from the bottom six last few years, Clay? More offense.
Yeah.
When Washington won the Stanley Cup, they got so much good production from their third, fourth lines. And you have to have offensive input from those guys. And this is where this is why I don't think you take Jake out. You don't take Jake out. I've always said that Jake Virtanen is going to be a good playoff performer. Big body, crash and bang, chip in with goals. I think Jake, you leave Jake in. I'm sorry. Gaudette's the centerman. He ain't going anywhere. So you want more production from your bottom six, Clay. I'm not gonna lie to you. All the teams that go deep in the playoffs, they all get production from their bottom six, and that's where the Canucks need to get going, and they need to get production from their bottom six. But I would touch Jake. I would leave him in the lineup.
No, absolutely. What I was saying, Rick, is I'll leave them in the lineup, but I'm thinking defensively, does Travis Green trust them enough to play them maybe a few more less minutes and give Sutter, Beagle, and Mott more of those minutes if they're needing to play more defensively? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to tell you about the Minnesota-Vancouver series. The Wild have a better blue line. You know that.
Yeah.
They're a really good top four. The Canucks have better crop of forwards, goaltending to the Canucks, but their goals against and goals for both teams were pretty even, Clay. Okay, home record, away record, but that doesn't mean anything anyways. And before COVID hit, Minnesota was 7-3 and one of the hottest teams in the West. Dean Evison, former Vancouver Giants coach, I'm telling you, Clay, Dean did a good job. He did a really good job down the stretch with the Minnesota Wild. But I'm still taking the Canucks in this series because I think their forward group is much better than the Wild's forward group. And I think the goaltending with Jacob Markstrom is going to be better. You take the Canucks, okay, because of their forward group and the goaltending, but that Wild blue line is pretty darn good.
No, I'm with you, Rick. All right, last 5 minutes. Let's finish off with our rapid fire, what I call the six pack. You can answer these questions as broadly or as narrowly as you want. 3 Canucks questions and 3 randoms. You ready?
Yeah.
Number 1, Rick Dhaliwal, extrovert or introvert?
Introvert.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not going to expand. I'm going to leave it at that. Next.
Number 2, who's going to be more important to the Canucks going forward? You can use whatever definition of important you want. Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes.
Oh my God. Quinn Hughes, because franchise don't grow on trees at that young age. He's going to win a Norris Trophy someday. And the Canucks have been dying for a franchise for a long, long time. I'm telling you right now, this kid, 10, 15 years, just ask yourself how many Norris Trophies he's going to win. I am so impressed with Quinn Hughes. I just think it was the best pick in the Canucks organization the last 10, 15, 20 years. I'm going to go with Quinn Hughes because franchise defensemen don't grow up in the Canucks.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, we don't have to fret too much if he loses the Calder Trophy to Makar because you're right. There's some bigger trophies, I think, that he's going to win down the road.
And I'm okay with Makar winning the Calder.
Yeah.
Nobody ever walked around 10 years later said, hey, I want a Calder Trophy. Nobody cares. because the dream, Clay, win the Stanley Cup. It's the win the Stanley Cup. Individual awards, I don't care. Makar's a great defenseman. I'm not going to lie to you. When he played his first game last year for Colorado, coming from the NCAA in the playoffs, I was sitting there going, oh my God. Like, he skated the puck on his own zone like a 10-year veteran. Cale Makar is a unbelievable defenseman. Unbelievable. So, you know what? But I don't care if he wins the Calder or not. That's irrelevant. This kid has got a long career ahead of him. He's going to win the Norris one day, and he's going to get the Vancouver Canucks very, very close someday to their ultimate dream.
I love it. Number 3, Netflix or Disney Plus?
Say that again?
Netflix or Disney Plus? Yeah.
Netflix, 100%. I'm not into.
No Disney for you?
Oh, no. Well, if I watch Disney, I'd have to see Bob Marjanovic on there because that's where he belongs, on the Disney channel. Oh,
love it. Number 4.
Moj would be Dumbo.
Maybe I just found my clip for Twitter. No, maybe I'll save that. Okay. Number 4. This person's paying for dinner. So you're being treated for dinner. Who are you going out with? Travis Green, Jim Benning, or Francesco Aquilini?
Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Travis Green, just because, you know why? I'm going to tell you. Travis and I go back to when he was in Utica, and I used to pester him and bother him every week. I'm going to tell you a story. I used to call Travis every week in Utica and ask about Jake Virtanen. How's Jake doing? It got to the point where before I could ask Travis a question, Travis gave me the answer about Jake Virtanen. That's how much I drove Travis nuts about Jake in Utica. But listen, Travis Green, I'm going to tell you, if he can get the connection to the playoffs, okay, I think there's a contract extension waiting for him. Yeah. I believe that, Clay, and I think this is a good, young, bright coach, and I think that he's got the Canucks on the right path. And if they can make some shrewd moves, get rid of some cap space, sign some guys, I'm telling you, Clay, they're not far away. They're not far away, and I think they got the right guy behind the bench.
Love the optimism. Number 5, and you won't offend me either way because I'm half of each. Do you prefer Japanese food or Chinese food?
Chinese, because the kids order it, and no, the kids order it, but I've never ordered Japanese food. It's always been Chinese. It's almost like, Clay, it's almost like nobody says, let's order some Japanese food. It's always, we're ordering some Chinese food. It's almost like, you know, but I've never ever heard somebody say, let's order some Japanese food. It's always been, let's order some Chinese food. So I'm going to go Chinese.
Okay. Well, do you enjoy Japanese food though?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say I'd take you out, but.
I've tried it, but Chinese food is, for me, the way to go. And you should have thrown in Indian food and tandoori. I should be asking you, do you like Indian food is what I should be asking you.
You know, I do. I don't like it as much as I like sushi, but I do like Indian food, yes.
But for me, Chinese food, and then it's Indian food, yes.
All right, and last question, Rick. Who is the next Canucks player in the Ring of Honor?
Oh, I want to see Gino Ojic in there. I just want to see Gino in there because, you know, everyone was, Canucks Twitter yesterday was all this unsung hero award, you know, JT Miller, and everyone was ripping and tearing. I have a soft spot for guys like Gino. Because to make a living and claw your way to the NHL and make a living that tough, grinding way. And that's why Rick Rippon was I was a big fan of Rick Rippon's. I'm just a big fan of those guys. And even in junior hockey, those guys that work hard and get those jobs through grit and size and toughness. I have a soft spot for those guys. I always have. Even when I covered junior hockey all over BC, Alberta, I always became friends with the guys that had those roles. And because I just have a lot of admiration for those type of guys. Just because of that reason, I'd like to see Gino in there someday. I don't think it'll happen. I don't know if it will. I know he's friends with the owner, Francesco Aquilini. But just for me, I think it'd be nice if you get Gino in there someday. for me, it's Gino. I told you why. I don't know if it happens, but I just got a soft spot for all those guys over the years for the Canucks. And he was such a fan favorite. And he was such, the Pavel Bure connection, the whole 9 yards. And he's such a staple in our community still. He can't go anywhere. And Gino can't go anywhere in the community without somebody saying, Gino, Gino, Gino. We had him, a quick story, we had him on right after Pettersson got hit by Matheson. And he said, if that was me, I would have grabbed Matheson, I would have beaten the shit out of him. But I'm telling you, for me, I think of Gino, and I think there's a place for him in Canuck folklore. I really do. But for me, it'd be Gino.
Awesome. Awesome answer, Rick. And lastly, a quick bonus question. Are you the only sports media person who uses tweet longer or twit longer to put your long tweets out?
I am. But, hey, Clay, I'm going to tell you why. Because, first of all, like Bob Marjanovic, I barely got past grade 12. That's one. And every time I tweet something, there's always somebody in the grammar police that'll tweet back saying, yeah, that's not the right way to do it. That's you spelt that wrong. And I'm like, dude, I barely got past grade 12. And, I don't need the grammar police all over my Twitter tweets. Second of all, I like doing those notes columns. And I can't do a notes column if I just do it with normal tweets. So that twit longer, Thomas Strantz got me onto that. But it gives me the ability to do a notes column and get more information in there.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, Rick, you being amazing, man. You're amazing because you've held your phone still for about 30 minutes straight. That's good endurance there in your arm. Seriously, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know how busy. I know you got to work those contacts, but keep on doing what you're doing, brother. I really appreciate it.
And just you as well, Mr. Positivity. I think everybody loves the fact. And hey, listen, when the Canucks turn the corner, and they will, they're not going to be like this for another 5 years. When they turn the corner and Canucks Twitter turns into a more positive forum, which it will, that's going to benefit you because that's when you're going to excel. When the Canucks go on deep playoff runs and guys like you who are positive in the bad times, just imagine the good times. That, when they turn the corner and go on deep playoff runs, that's all going to be for you, my friend. That's good for guys like you who, through the deep times, the tough times, had a tough. Look, it's tough being positive. You think 5 years of no playoff hockey in Vancouver, you think that's easy on the fans? It's not. This isn't Columbus. This isn't Carolina where they don't care. This city cares. They want to see a long playoff run. And Jim Benning has done good things. He's done things he probably, he says to himself, I shouldn't have probably traded for that guy or shouldn't have signed that guy. But he's also made some really good moves in the last year and a half. So everybody makes good moves, bad moves. This team's going to turn the corner, Clay, someday, and you're going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries.
All right. Well, I look forward to it. And on that day, you and I going out for some Indian food. How's that sound? Thanks, Rick. Appreciate your time, brother.
All right, buddy.